Hi, I'm Tom Beckstrand with Guns and Ammo. We're here at SHOT Show 2019, here at the B&T with Casey to talk about bipods and monopods and all kinds of good stuff.
Yep.
So Casey, how did your company get started? What was the impetus? You wake up one morning and say, "Hey, I'm gonna start a bipod company."
Yeah, that's how it happened.
Yeah.
No, I was actually prairie dog hunting, and a buddy was using a sand sock. He forgot it, so it's like every missed shot was because of that. So I started thinking when I was driving, you know, what they attach a bipod to a rifle. Why couldn't you attach something to the back of the rifle so that you wouldn't lose it? Pick your rifle up and go, it'd be with it. So started toying around with different things and came up with the monopod. So it just deploys down and you can adjust it for elevation. But I actually put together with a turnbuckle kitchen table, looked through a window, knot hole on the fence, adjusted up and down. When I let go of it, it stayed there, and I knew it was money. I knew there was something there to it.
And so one of the things I like about this is you've got gross adjustment with the button.
Yeah.
But then you can also thread for fine adjustment.
Exactly.
Because a little bit of movement at the back of your rifle, of course, moves the muzzle around quite a bit. So.
Yeah.
Nice
and
product.
another thing is a lot of people don't understand how to use the monopod, but you grab it so the meat of your hand is below it on the surface, and that becomes a soft interface, and you can squeeze your hand, make a fist more or less, and that'll adjust your fine elevation that way. Exactly. Yeah. So we brought this out immediately after that. I mean, within 6 months, people were asking what kind of bipod do we sell. We didn't sell one, but we started selling the Harris. Great product, gold standard. And so that's what we were doing, selling the Harris. I mean, everybody's shot off of a Harris.
Yeah, I mean, I've got like a basket full of those things. They're great products. You know, there's one weld that if you load a lot, you know, it will crack eventually.
Right.
But a Harris has been a great one. I've had, like I said, I got a gang of them at the house.
Sure. Yeah. So started processing all that, and probably 3-4 years into business, I came up with an idea, and I actually approached Mr. Harris about it. And the lady knew me, knew our product. He was eating breakfast.
Hold on, you went and talked to a competitor before you started competing?
Well, he wasn't a competitor. He was the guy.
Right.
I mean, he was the guy that was making bipods. And so, I guess in my upbringing, my whatever you want to call it, I didn't just want to go into the bipod business. That was his deal. Nobody was making monopods.
Right.
You know, there's only a few people doing them now. But yeah, I went there before SHOT Show. Asked the lady if I could talk to him. He's back there eating breakfast, and she went back and said, "This is Casey Belts with Accu-Shot. He makes the monopods." He goes, "Oh yeah, I know about it." He looked up and he said, "Yeah, you're not going to make it with that." And I'm like, "Okay." And then he said, and I said, "Well, I really wanted to talk to you about a bipod." And he goes, "No, you can't improve upon the bipod." And I'm like, "Well, okay, enjoy your breakfast." And my takeaway from it was, one, I enjoyed the fact that he reminded me of my grandpa. And two, that, I never wanted to crush somebody's, dreams, that if it's a legitimate dream. And then three, I never wanted to believe I couldn't improve upon our products. And we've been doing that ever since.
Right. That's a great attitude to have, because, I can see back in the day that you had the PT10 or the BT10, and then came the PSR, and then there's been other models, and you can kind of see that evolution of improving features, or just offering the customer different features and saying, "Hey, this is what you want. This is the perfect product. You don't need anything else," which happens sometimes. You listen to what your customer has to say, you listen to what the military had to say, and incorporated those features into your bipods.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, when you talk about the military side of things, there's a gentleman that gave me a copy of what the SCAR program bipod requirements were, and so I set out to beat them. On the weight and in the height range, and I'll just real quick show that's how I came up with the 45 position. Is that like this bipod it goes from, let's say, 5 3/4 to 9 1/4, and I was trying to get below their 6-inch height deal. So I figured out that if I put the legs forward, I could get the rifle lower. Yeah, I'd drop it down a little bit, and I could gain that amount of adjustment. Well, and the offset, the other addition to that is that for high angle shooting, it gives a real good purchase on that. So I felt like it was a value, and we started doing the different positions, the 45 front and back, and that's probably the most copied feature of our bipods today. But it is something that was looked at from the military for the SOCOM PSR program. They didn't like.
Yeah. So I was gonna say, what changes did you make going from the BT10 to the PSR?
I can't tell you all of them. I've slept since then. But a couple
it's the last
of
day of SHOT Show. So.
Yeah, that too. So this is 1/2-inch 60 series aluminum. This is 5/8 70 series aluminum. The BT10, the legs rotate. The PSR legs don't rotate. This has got a boss on the front of it. The BT10 doesn't have a boss on the front of it. So what this does is when there's a school that you got to load it real heavy,
right.
That keeps you from overloading that bipod, if you will.
Right. Which is that's when the hair's
yeah.
That's when that weld has a hard
right.
time.
Right.
It wasn't designed for that.
Right. So and the things that they did like about it was that everything about it was intentional. We call this, hold what you move technology. You're not going to bump this, hit it, snag it, and it's going to, open up. Everything you're going to do on it is intentional, and we call it hold what you move technology. You can bring the leg down into place, pull the collar, and adjust it that way. Another thing is the outer leg moves, not the inner leg. So if you stick this in mud, the mud's going to be on the outside, not on the inner leg that you push up inside the bipod.
And I'll tell you, one of the features that I've liked, I bought one probably 3-4 years ago, and you didn't give it to me. I just bought one. I needed it, and because I was shooting a lot of PRS competitions at the time, and they make there's a whole aftermarket support for around this bipod. There's extensions, and then you yourself make a number of different feet attachments.
Right.
You can come in and you look, you see that little ball right there. Push down on that ball, the foot pops out. Yeah. I've got those. I've got spikes. Depending on what surface you're on, if it's nice and smooth, rubber is good. But if it's like gravel, sometimes you need. I've got the smooth ones, the skis.
Right.
If you want to just be able to slide your rifle around, there's a whole number of foot attachments that go into the bottom of these. And then there's also, I got carbon fiber, a couple of different lengths of carbon fiber extensions, so that you can shoot from the kneeling position or the sitting position. So there's just a ton of utility, and that's why I bought one. It's a super durable product, and the other one is you have a ton of options. There's no such thing as one size fits all.
Right. Well, and that's a good point, because all the Atlas Bipods up until the Cow Bipod offered both, the pan and the cant. And a lot of people don't understand the pan. Like it's not necessarily about shooting moving targets. It's about being able to get a good load and then pan over to a target if it's a stationary target. So that's another reason to consider a panning bipod. But when we first brought out the Atlas, people were asking about, well, I just want a bipod that cants only. So that's where the Gen 2 cow comes in. And we use Terry Cross makes the pod lock. He was the inventor of it.
Terry's a gentleman.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And so there's no way I was going to put a lever on here to tighten up that without giving him some respect that way.
Yeah.
And it costs us more to do it, right?
Yeah.
But it's worth every bit of it. I'm not going to take away from him. So this is something that has just a cant. It has all the other patented features as far as hold what you move technology. And this has been proven. Those things right there, I came up with that idea from AirCheck, off of an airline.
Nice.
And it's like, why would you? Yeah, absolutely. So it's like, why would you do that? Well, it's because those things are used in all kinds of environments, and it's like, why not? In fact,
I worked in a welding shop that say hook the hair hose to
Yeah. So a buddy of mine that was deployed at the time, he said, "Oh, Casey, I think that's going to be a problem. I think it's going to get jammed up." I said, "Well, then do it. Jam it up." Yeah. And so he did. He jammed it up. He said, "Yeah, I could jam it up, but I could unjam it just as easy."
Yeah.
So it's real easy to do to get it cleared out. And the same thing, you can take the feet off, put this thing in water, and clear it out, and you're good to go.
So we went from the BT10 to the PSR, and then we went to the big dog, right?
Yeah.
The 5H.
Yeah, that's funny. There's
this is a lot of machine work.
Yeah, I honestly didn't want to get into that, but business is business, and it's a funny market. There was a guy that was infringing on us, and he made a big bipod, and and I talked to him about his infringement, and I basically said that I would license it to him, and I would stay out of the big bipod market. And literally he said that he would stay out of the little bipod market. Well, then it was 3 months after SHOT Show, there's all this chatter about, this new small bipod. So I asked him about it, and he said, well, I had people asking me about a smaller bipod. And I was like, well, dude, do you think we didn't have people asking us about a bigger bipod?
Right.
So I didn't really want to get into this, but we did. And man, it's just for the last 6 months. We introduced this, I think, 2 years ago.
Right.
We've been selling steady, but for the last 6 months, it's just been picking up. And one of the crazy things is people are putting this on air guns.
Right. Well, and the reason why is because it's got a much wider footprint. And if you see these legs come up, the apex is going to meet right around the top of the barrel. And what happens is that drops the center of gravity of the rifle down low between.
Yeah.
And, people think, well, if it's sitting on a bipod, it's supported. Well, it's got great support from the bottom. But if you can support it a little bit from the sides as well, it eliminates just that last little bit of wobble when you're out shooting, trying to hit little tiny groups or tiny targets.
Right.
And so this is, it's a little more specialized application, but I've got one of these at the house too.
Yeah.
That it just stops that lateral movement. So air gun shooters, I know it was designed for 50s and the big guns. And shoot out to past
anything
a mile.
distance.
But it's because it eliminates that last little bit of lateral movement.
Right.
That's why you find them on air guns and everywhere else.
Yeah. So we're going to be doing another large bipod that's going to be based kind of on the cow, because what we found is that people shooting distance, and I mean they're going out to 2 miles now.
Right. ELR is the new hotness.
Yeah. So it's really there's not a lot of need for pan. They just want something wide and low and stable, something that gets like this is. So, that's what we really do is bipods. We are support. And snipers always say that they're snipers and they're support. So we've agreed that we're support. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you. So from the 5.8, of course we went to Cal. This is the new one. When did this model come out? Was it last year?
Okay. Funny thing, it did come out last year, and I totally was too close for us to see the trees. It made some mistakes on it. And as soon as it was brought to my attention, it's like, no man, I got to stop it. So turned that off. Did the redesign, and there's a whole lot of things going on at B&T. Growth and the challenges small businesses face that way. But we got our legs under us, got this done. Really proud about it. And one of the things that I think is really cool is that from the rail down to the bottom of that is a little over an inch. So it's really a low profile, bipod that way.
Right. Because back to the whole, when you support a rifle from the bottom, the higher up the rifle goes, the harder it is to get stable. Yeah. Right. So shooting anything precision with a rifle, lower is better. So it's kind of a big deal that you drop that down and narrow it up.
And it's and that's one thing that, again, a lot of bipods coming on the market, but when you look at them, like what Tom was talking about, the legs are literally down here, and you got all this bracket coming up to it, and the apex is often below the barrel an inch or two.
Yeah. And so what you'll see if you get behind the rifle and look through the scope is you'll see all kinds of wobble.
Oh yeah.
So dropping it down, lower is better. Always.
And another thing about this stuff, it's all American made, assembled in America, designed in America, and there's no whiz-bang metal work on this, anything special that way. It's just, good 6061 aluminum, hard anodized, but the weight on these things is I've seen new bipods that are using titanium and all this stuff, but they still weigh more.
Right.
And I will stand behind this 100%. The strength of this. In fact, our warranty is just that. If it breaks, we're going to repair or replace it. We believe this is our bipod. Right. We believe in our product. If you buy it and you give it to him, and then he gives it to him, and he backs over it with his truck, we're going to repair or replace it. We don't care how it broke.
Now, don't be fooled. If you're buying one of these off of eBay, you're probably not buying this one, right? There's a big scandal here. What was that, a couple years ago? Well, I guess it's never gone away.
No.
Not a big scandal, but there's a lot of Chinese knockoffs that look very similar to the untrained guy. In fact, they look almost identical to the untrained guy. So if you buy one of these for 20, 50.
Oh, even they sell some for full price, full retail. Oh, yeah.
So buy from a reputable source, buy from a reputable distributor, buy from the company, but buyer beware on eBay because you're probably getting Chinese. Yeah. And you won't know until it breaks and you send it to Casey, and then Casey's going to have to tell you it's Chinese, and then there's going to be all kinds of sadness. Right.
Yeah. And an easy way to tell that is that these for one thing, that all their hardware is like chrome plated, mystery metal. The position plate is again stamped. This is machined and heat treated stainless steel. But they're pretty easy to tell. They don't do a hard anodize. They just do some kind of, again, mystery treatment to the metal. But there's actually an ongoing FBI investigation about the counterfeits, and there's even as we speak right now. So there's action.
Unfortunately, the government shut down, and even on the best day, those government wheels turn slowly. Yeah. So if you're buying a bipod, just be careful. I don't want to see anybody get burned.
No, it's and somebody says, well, it's flattery if somebody's going to copy your product. And my take on that is that, well, I wouldn't feel that way, nor would you, if somebody broke in your house and stole your stuff.
Well, and that's a great way for customers to get mad, and you have to field a lot of tough phone calls.
10% of our time now. 10% of our time is about counterfeit products. Hey, this broke on me. This part fell off. A Navy guy, they got burned with a bunch of counterfeits. and the lady that sold them to him, I think, is no longer an authorized dealer to them. But a guy said they were breaking like that was their job. So and we've seen them break.
And so the big takeaway there is you look for this plate, right?
Yeah.
It's not chrome plated. If you don't know the difference between what machine metal looks like and what cast metal looks like, or stampings look like, then get brushed up on that before you pull the trigger and smoke your credit card. But so just take a good look at this wheel. If it doesn't look like this, then it's not an Atlas Bipod.
It's really going to be from this position here that they'll show them, and they also use our products.
Your stock images,
but the edges, instead of being crisp like Tom was talking about, they'll be rolled over like something was pressed over it. But the real tell, the easy straight up, is those being shiny. I mean, seriously, shiny chrome or something like that, whatever that material is.
Right. And so I can't help myself. I know this future products, and we always got to be careful. Sometimes people get their feelings hurt when timelines aren't met. But we got the 5H. When do we see the one that doesn't pan?
I don't know if you've ever followed me online, but I don't. I no longer give deadlines.
Right.
It's I tried to, and I just quit doing that. But
we appreciate you sharing with us that's going to be the next one coming, and when it shows up is when it shows up.
Yeah. Well, and we do have, like I said, 100% warranty on this stuff. We believe in what we're doing, and we're proud to do it. We're proud of our customer base and people that support us and the patronage we get that way.
Cool,
for sure.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time to talk to us and explain the products and really help educate the customer and take care of the customer.
Absolutely.
And that's it. That's all we got coming to you from SHOT Show 2019.
Thank you very much.
It's like a school of smartphones.